coop would very often smell bad, and feces dust can create a health issue, especially with older homeowners or someone with breathing issues. Noise, dust, and odor-free on the neighbor's side of the fence property line is very hard to achieve in the summer with a breeze blowing in your direction. A call to the animal control officer on Saturday afternoon with a complaint about smell or noise may not get a response for several days, and the situation could have changed. I asked the council to please require a separate chicken run fence and establish a reasonable distance of approximately 15 to 25 feet for a neighbor's property line distance buffer from the chicken coop and from the chicken run fence in the new ordinance as it is written in the small animal and chicken ordinance of Mount Vernon, Washington. Putting a chicken coop and chicken run against a neighbor's fence that adjoins his yard would be forcing chickens upon the neighbor. Chickens aren't pets we love. I know the information about the proposed chicken ordinance in Mount Vernon will be available for the public to review, but most people are busy working and leading their daily lives to actively seek out information on all topics. Please consider the residents who haven't read the information. Thank you, Arthur Huff. And council, I'll just follow up with that to let you know that I've reached out to Mr. Huff and introduced him by email to the Development Services Director, and Director Pratchner has reached out to him as well as her staff member already. So we are in contact with Mr. Huff and have provided the timing and scope and next steps he needs to allow his voice to be heard.
Right. Thank you, Peter. Item two tonight is our general public comment time. If there's anyone here that would like to speak, you're welcome to come to the podium at this time. Go ahead and come on up. We want you to state your name and your city of residence, and your comments are about 3 minutes.
This is only my second time talking, and I'm competing with chickens again. So I don't know. You guys have a chicken problem. Yeah. So there's two. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Two things that I'd like to see.
Could you state your name?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Miles Becker, and I'm in Ward 1 of Mount Vernon.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's two things I'd like to see happen in Mount Vernon. The first is it to become a Tree City USA. This is a designation by the Arbor Day Foundation that recognizes the value of trees to people that live here. And there's about 3,500 cities in the U.S. that have that designation, 95 in Washington State, 1 in Skagit, which is Anacortes. So there's some really great trees in this town, including downtown. There's a champion tulip tree. And I think that these trees have a lot of historical value to people that live here, and we appreciate them. So I think there could be steps taken to become a Tree City USA. There's only 4 requirements. So what I would hope the city council would do is to look into those steps and get that accreditation from Arbor Day. The second thing is looking to see where there's opportunities to plant trees that we don't have a lot of in certain areas. So places where there's a lot of air pollution from traffic, Riverside Drive, College Way, 1st, 2nd, 3rd Streets downtown, I-5. There's a lot of air chemicals coming out of that traffic. It's probably affecting people that live near there, businesses that are there. It's where there's the fewest. If you look at a map, that's where I see the fewest amount of trees on the map. There's a lot of research out there about how trees can reduce air pollutants, how they can increase recreational opportunities. They cut down on office or medical visits. They do a lot of good for things for people that are living in these communities or these neighborhoods. And these neighborhoods also tend to be where there's a lot more affordable housing or lower income housing, a lot more unemployment, and so they're already burdened with other things, and if the city can, increase the benefits to them by planting more trees, that would be great. So my suggestion for that would be, you have these, I believe the study sessions are available, I don't know how that works, but if there's an opportunity for the council to hold a study session to do some research into one, where are there gaps in the canopy where it's most needed, where the trees could benefit people who would benefit. Maybe it's just my imagination, maybe it's not really a big deal at all. and then what you could do to make that happen. So both of these are just intended to make Mount Vernon a healthier, better place to live for people that already live here, and a more attractive place for people that might be moving here. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. All right, any other public comment tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll move along. Consent agenda tonight is A, B, and C. That is a approval of regular council meeting minutes, payroll checks, claims, and direct deposits, and wire transfers.
I'll move, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'll move for approval of our consent agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Right, motion by Mary and a second by Mark. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries, thank you. Under reports tonight, we have two committee reports. One is our Finance and Parks and Enrichment Services Committee, and that's Councilmember Mary Hudson. Mary?
Thank you, Mayor. We met here tonight, right before this meeting. This is our budget book. I just want everybody to look at this. This is our budget book. We each have one, and we started discussing this in depth tonight. So that's what we did for the first hour, basically. We reviewed our 2024 revenue projections, and we had a short discussion on setting levy rates for property taxes. And then, like I said, we've already had 3 department presentations, and we will reconvene our committee meeting after this council session is over so that we can keep talking about it. But I would like to actually add a little bit to my report. The gentleman that just spoke about trees, that is near and dear to my heart. 28 years, I worked for a local tree company, and I think he should, I wish he was still here, I would tell him that my former employer chained himself to that heritage tulip tree that he is just talking about. So that is near and dear to my heart as well. So I will take his suggestions very much to heart and do my own research on becoming a tree city and all that other good stuff. So anyway, that's the end of my report. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mary. We're going to postpone the Development Services Committee report if the clerk can make a note for that next available council meeting. All right. Item B tonight is council member comments. Any council member comments tonight? Okay, moving on. Any item C, committee agenda requests? Any committee? Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I don't know. Sorry. Make a big scene out of everything. A couple weeks ago, I sent to our city attorney, kind of a synopsis of a ordinance that was passed in Marysville. And it's kind of a 3 strikes ordinance. It's just another kind of a tool in the toolbox for law enforcement and for holding people accountable. I'd just like to suggest that we have a discussion about that at our next available Public Safety Committee meeting. I know we're going to have some budget discussions, so once we're through those, I'd like to have a discussion on what that ordinance looks like, how it would work here in Mount Vernon.
Okay. We'll shoot for December on that. All right. Right. Moving on, there is no unfinished business tonight. Under new business, item A is the approval of an agreement with Silver Arrow Bowman Club lease agreement. And Jennifer Berner, our Parks and Enrichment Services Director, is here. Jennifer.
Good evening, council. As I'm happy to bring before you the Silver Arrow Bowman Club lease agreement. We've had a couple conversations on this before. I will just give you a brief synopsis. If you have any questions, I'm certainly available to answer those. And we also have in the audience this evening the Silver Arrow Bowman Club, their president, and that's Dwayne Smith, and he is here as well. So with that, the club has maintained the acres of the southeast corner of the Little Mountain for the past 60 years. The Bowman Club uses the land as an archery and recreational opportunity in our community, and it also is a tourism draw in our community as they do a lot of regional and state tournaments that bring people to Mount Vernon for these tournaments at this particular location. One of the new things that is part of this agreement is we are adding in this agreement for them to provide 3 free recreational co-partnership with the Parks and Recreation Department to the community. So working with youth, working with adults, we'll sit down and figure out what those are. And going forward in 2024, we'll see 3 free programs that will be held there at the club location, and kind of getting more attention to the sport, but bringing people to that location as well. So that's part of this agreement that has not been in there in the past. And the last thing is that the Bowman will also continue to maintain that space. So, that's a lot of acreage that they maintain. We don't maintain it as part of our parks. They maintain it, and they do a wonderful job at that. They're going to continue to do upgrades at that location as well to their buildings, but also to the space that they have there. When we've had some different tree issues there, they have gone in and done some work. When they've had some slides on the hillside, they've come in and done the work. We go out and we meet with them, but then they get the work party together and do the work, and if there's something that they need from us, then we certainly will address that with them. But they do a great job of maintaining that property there. So staff is requesting approval for mayor to enter into a lease agreement with the Silver Arrow Bowman Club to provide an archery course and activities to the community.
All right. Any questions, any questions for Jennifer and Mr. Smith? Thank you for coming tonight. Any questions from council?
I think this is just a great win-win for city and them too, and I'd move to approve the lease agreement with Silver Arrow Bowman's Club.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Carrie and a second by Melissa. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Looking forward to some of the community events. They're kind of fun to come out to. All right. Item B tonight is the approval of an agreement for Wilson Engineering LLC, and Chris Phillips, our Public Works Director, is here. Chris.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Bill this evening is in Wenatchee, battling the snow, and at the APWA conference there. So this evening, we're looking for a professional services agreement, combined sewer separation feasibility study, design services contract. Staff recommends entering into a professional services agreement with Wilson Engineering for planning and modeling and design of the combined sewer separation feasibility study. The study will enable Public Works to identify a path to implement stormwater separation in key areas of the city. The goal is to achieve an additional 3 to 5 million gallons per day of capacity in the winter months as a direct benefit to the plant. I'm sure you're all well aware that the wastewater treatment plant is one of those limiting factors to commercial and residential development within the city. And by taking a look at this, this is something that we really desire to accomplish. Wilson Engineering is an engineering design firm and is preferred candidate in the selection for this process. Feasibility study effort is expected to be completed December 2024 with a potential Phase 1 design beginning in 2025 under a separate design contract. The scope and fee for the design services is $599,473. City staff recommends a motion to approve authorization for the mayor to execute a professional services contract with Wilson Engineering.
Questions for Chris on this item?
I don't have,
Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead, Ron.
Just one question. The timeframe of the contract, is it through up until December 31st, 2024, 2025? I saw two different years.
2024, and then we would proceed with the next phase of that, which would be Phase 1 of design beginning in 2025, which would be under a separate design contract. So, two separate contracts. This would be Phase 1, and then
Got
we'd
it.
be coming back to council sometime late 2024 for the design phase contract.
Thank you.
Other- Richard?
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
So we funded a contract for another group to do some monitoring and assessment of flows in these pipes already.
So that would be the wastewater treatment plant comprehensive plan. That was HDR, and it was helping and assisting with modeling for pipes that are 12 inches and above located throughout the city. You are correct.
Okay.
This is different.
Yes, right. I was curious to see if information from that first phase could be put into our files so I could check it out.
Sure.
the deliverable from what we've already funded?
Oh, from HDR,
Yeah.
what they're gonna be
Yes,
doing?
yes, sir.
Okay, yes, there is a comprehensive GIS portion to that. HDR, I would say, is one set of that with the comp plan. Two would be the combined sewer separation up on the hill, which is the easier one to do with the combined sewer system versus the one that is located downtown. And then we have a third activity that we're going on right now to get all pipes and our sewer and wastewater line mapped through our GIS to have a comprehensive model throughout the entire city.
That's great. Thank you.
Back to the
Back to
item for
this.
tonight. Any other questions for Chris?
Well, I have
right.
no questions, and sewer is certainly not glamorous work, but it is critical to a healthy city. And so with that, I would make a motion that council authorize the mayor to execute the contract with Wilson Engineering.
Thank you.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Motion by Melissa and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, item C is an approval of an agreement. This is with the Washington State Transportation Grant, and this is Chris Phillips. Chris.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening again. This is a good news story. This is some funding for our Mount Vernon Library Commons project. So city staff recommends the city council authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the state grant agreement for $2.1 million for the Mount Vernon Library Commons project. This is part of the Department of Transportation's 2023 budget and can be used for our Commons project regarding the EV charging stations and electrical infrastructure. City staff recommends City Council authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement for state grant for $2.1 million for the Mount Vernon Library Commons project.
All right. Any questions for Chris on this?
I will move, the council authorize the mayor to enter into the agreement with, Washington State Department of Transportation for $2.1 million.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Mark and a second by Iris. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item D is the approval of an agreement. This is with Skagit County PUD.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff recommends council authorize the mayor to execute the water maintenance agreement for governmental agency with Skagit PUD. This agreement is part of a new water line relocation for water service for the Library Commons project. Skagit PUD would typically require a maintenance bond from private developers as a one-year warranty against effects to newly installed infrastructure to turn over to the jurisdiction for ownership. The city has a similar process for infrastructure being turned over to us by a developer. Skagit PUD has a process similar to other interlocal agreements to establish the warranty guarantee with governmental agencies in lieu of a municipal bond. So basically, this is saving the city money. As described above, this agreement takes the place of a maintenance bond that would typically be required as part of installation of new infrastructure. There will be no direct cost to the city from executing this agreement unless there is a failure in the water line or fixtures requiring repair with 1 year of acceptance by Skagit PUD. If there is an issue with the piping that's in here, Leidig and their subcontractors are actually the ones that would be on the hook to go ahead and provide those particular services. So yet again, no impact to the city at all. City staff recommends City Council authorize the mayor to execute the water maintenance agreement for governmental agency with Skagit PUD, pending your questions.
All right, questions for Chris on this item?
You predicted my question about our contractor, and that we have paid a contractor's license and bonded to do this work. And so that's who we would look to if there's a failure, correct?
Absolutely.
And this just creates that agreement, interlocal agreement essentially between the PUD and us without a bonding mechanism. But we would, it does say in that agreement that we would be responsible for up to like 26,000 or something.
And
That's all pointed back to Leidig, right?
Correct. It's basically 25% of the cost of the project itself. That's how they got the number of $25,600 or $506. So that's how they get the number, but Leidig is the one that would be responsible for that. I confirmed that with our project manager this afternoon to make sure that that indeed was the case and got the thumbs up from him.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Well, Chris and I exchanged several emails with number of questions that Chris was able to answer for me today, and I appreciate that. And if there's no other questions, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the agreement with Skagit PUD.
Thank you.
Second.
Good motion by Mark and a second by Gary. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chris. I'm gonna take the liberty to add in a quick mayor's report. So, because I have some slides and pictures. Peter, that's showing on the screen at the TV10 house, correct? Okay, awesome. So just a couple construction updates as we try and normally do. The picture on the left at number 1, that's actually the south elevation. And what you see in the sort of metal framing is those are the supports for the solar panels that will be installed. And then the pictures at 2 and 3 are just getting ready for the supports that will have the solar panels on the roof itself. So we've got the entire south elevation and we have panels on the roof. And so those are getting ready and coming right along. What you may recognize or may not is our crane is now gone. So the crane that was in our downtown area left over the weekend. It was quite a bare spot, but that's okay. It means we're making progress on the building itself. You will, over the next probably few weeks, see a smaller crane, and what that crane will be doing is placing the precast stairs that go into the stairwell. So there's a stairwell on the west side of the building, there's a stairwell on the north, and what they do is they precast them, so they pre-make them, and then they come and they kind of feed them down in the structure of where they sit. So that's gonna happen in the next couple weeks, and people will see a crane for that. The next slide shows just a little bit more of the interior build out that's underway. This is on the first floor. You can see some of the unistrut framing that's going in. There's then insulation that will go in after that. Interestingly enough, there's an insulation strike out of British Columbia. We've had to pivot to other providers. As you can imagine, it's can cause quite a delay. So we've had to do a lot of pivot work in the last few weeks in order to maintain some semblance of construction timeline and not 40 days of delay just for insulation. So, and then there's also the brick is starting to be added. That's really on the sort of the red apple side. If people want to check out what that brick color looks like, that's where you could drive by very slowly and take a look at that. It will be, of course, going up higher on the building as they make their way around the building with the masonry. You can, again, always find information on what's going on with the commons on our website, mountvernon.gov. Veterans Day is coming up pretty quick here, November 11th, and there's a couple events. I want to thank Jennifer Berner and her crew and staff at the Parks and Enrichment Services Department. There is currently a food drive that's going on between now and November 10. So you can support local veterans through some food donations. You can also non-perishable food and then personal hygiene items to local veterans food pantries. That's where the donations will be taken. So you can stop in either at the Parks Administrative Office, you can stop in at City Hall or at the City Library and help support your local community there. We also then have a Help a Veteran Work Party on Veterans Day on Saturday the 11th at 1 o'clock. And we're seeking volunteers for those who would like to come help local veterans who may need help in maintaining their yards. So you can find information on that, again, at our website, mountvernonwad.gov/parks, or give a call to City Hall and find out more on how you can be part of making a Veterans Day on Veterans Day. All right, that concludes our regularly scheduled agenda items. I'll ask our city attorney if there's a need for an executive session this evening.
No.
And with that, we will be adjourned with our regular council meeting at 7:30, and we'll reconvene our committee meeting in about 5 minutes. So